What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome into episode number 565 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's KB coming at you solo dolo, fresh off the ArcticMonkeys concert at the Mann Center. I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking some birds, talking some Phillies, and we're going to have ourselves a dandy old time here on this episode. I'm also fresh off of getting back from Boston for the PLL quarterfinals. Saw the boy Pat Pitts. It was a time. You know, we're all preparing for the roads leading to Philadelphia, and it's going to be an absolute doozy of a time in a few weeks there. But we got things to talk about before we get there. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI. That's on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads. Also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/undergroundsportsphi. And if you want to watch every Wednesday night show live before it goes anywhere else, it's twitch.tv/undergroundsportsphi. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311 and on TikTok at KBUnderground, Instagram KBIZZLE11. Subscribe to the podcast feed, Apple, Spotify, or wherever you decide to get your podcasts. Yawns are fun. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It's the easiest way to support us on the front of just growing the show. The more reviews, the more subscribers, the more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, and helps us take this thing to the goddamn moon, and makes us even better than the top 1,500 sports podcasts in the country. So subscribe, leave a 5-star review. Go subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel as well, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week. You get full video episodes of every show on our network: Guzman's Gridiron, Outside the Box, Top Binge, Streamer Season, F1 Underground, Get in the Hole, Eagles Enemies returns this week. Every goddamn piece of content on this channel in video form happens when you subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. Need to get to 600 subscribers before the PLL championship game. That is our new goal here at the company, because we missed our goal last month. We wanted to get to 600 before the end of August, but looking to get there before the end of the PLL championship game on September 24th. So let's make that happen, if not sooner. Also, this show presented by the city of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process. Their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you are considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. Let's get into it. The Fightin' Phils, not the best weekend against Milwaukee, but they've gotten off to a nice start against the San Diego Padres with an even split by the time I'm recording this. It's brought to you by our merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. There's no doubt in our minds you guys will stand out in the crowd with the awesome merch from PHI Apparel Company, from Eagles, Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, Union, Philadelphia-inspired merch, the best fan merch out there, and Underground Sports Philadelphia Podcast Network merch. We're trying to recover some of our old archive merch as well to get over to PHI, so hopefully we'll have that pretty soon. But you guys can go to phiapparel.co and use code Underground at any time and get 10% off any and all merch orders. It's the most effective and direct way to support everything we're doing here. If you want to support us, you want to look styling and profiling when you're going out to the bar, going to the stadiums, whatever it may be, go to phiapparel.co and use code Underground for 10% off your order. Phil's trying to keep a firm hold on that wild card spot, that top wild card spot. Trey Turner goes on the paternity list exactly 9 months after signing his 11-year, $300 million contract, which was very, very funny. Congrats on the sex, Trey. But the Phils, they split the first 2 games of this series against San Diego. Not the best series in Milwaukee. They salvage it in that final game on Sunday. But losing those 2 7-5 back-to-back games Friday, Saturday, not ideal, especially when Milwaukee is one of those bubble division-winning wild card teams. You got to be able to take care of business against those teams, especially when you have some of your best pitchers going. But, to get that win on Monday was huge, 9-7 over the Padres. Looking to bounce back and win the series, though, after you lose 8-0 to the Padres as well on Tuesday. And then you have the Marlins coming into town this weekend, and then the Braves coming to town for 4 before you hit the road again to take on the Cardinals. And then you go to Atlanta. Then the Mets come to town. The Pirates come to town. And then you go to the Mets. So those final 3 series of the season a little more favorable with the Mets, the Pirates, and the Mets. And then you also have the Cardinals in there. So 4 very favorable series. The Marlins obviously have been an issue for the Phillies over the last decade. So we'll see. The Marlins have kind of come back down to earth quite a bit over the past month or so. So we'll see if, the Phillies can handle business against the Marlins in Philadelphia. It's not like you're going to Miami to take on the Marlins, which has been a house of horrors. The Phillies pitching just needs to step up. Bullpen, starters, you got to be able to control your pitches and not surrender these early runs and put your team in a hole early on to make it that much more difficult for you to go out and get a win, and then you have to be even more precise and locked in on the mound. It's just not an ideal situation with what the Phillies pitching has been lately. You got to be able to manage your games better, and you got to be able to control your pitches so that you're not giving up 3 runs a clip, every inning and having these big innings happen for your opponents, and then it's a nightmare for your team to kind of crawl out of. But Philly's looking to get that job done, and there's still that number 1 wild card, holding on to that, trying to fend off the Cubs, trying to fend off the Brewers from potentially sneaking into that wild card as those 2 teams duke it out for the NL Central title, and they'll play each other the final week of the regular season. That could potentially determine who wins the division and who the wild card is, and what the first wild card matchup will be. But I mean, that's going to be the interesting aspect of all of this too, is at least the Phillies down the stretch after this Padres series, you're at home for 7 games, then you go on the road for 3 against the Cardinals, 3 against the Braves, like I mentioned. So 7, 6, then you're home for 6 more. And then you're on the road. So, I mean, big time opportunity when the Phillies are a better home team than they are a road team this year. I think they are, almost 20 games over 500, pretty damn close to it at home, as opposed to being like a 500 team on the road. You got to be able to win where you succeed, and that's why it's important for the Phillies to lock in this first wild card spot, because then you get the home field advantage for the first 2 games of the playoffs before you have to worry about either the Braves or the Dodgers, however that shakes out. More than likely going to be the Braves, because how MLB works, it's the top wild card matchup. You go on to face the best team, which I'm fine with. And you're going to get a crack at the Braves at this point in the season for 7 games down the stretch. and really see what that team is made of at this point in the year. I'm glad that the Phillies are actually going to be playing the Braves this late in the year. Not that it's going to matter for the division because the Phillies are, over 10 games back in the division right now. And unless the Braves absolutely fall off the tracks and the Phillies go like undefeated, there's no way the Phillies are winning the division. But I think the consensus here is that, getting a crack at the Braves for 7 games at this point in the year when you're potentially going to see them in the divisional round, if you're able to, get past the wild card round, whether it's the Cubs or the Brewers or whoever it may be, you'll have a better inkling of how that team is playing, and then they're going to be off for 2-3 games and, potentially a full week when it all shakes out, depending on scheduling of the divisional round. So, it's very similar to last year where the Phillies were going in, playing in the wild card. It's almost beneficial to be playing in the wild card round in baseball now because you get at least 2 extra games to play. You're staying fresh. Your position players are still hitting. They're not resting and getting out of a groove that they're in. Your pitchers are still pitching, and you're not waiting around sitting and going cold. And I think that's what we saw last year with the Mets and the Braves. They had that time off, and it affected them. Where the Phillies and the Padres, they were able to continue playing as wild card teams, and then they met in the championship series, and we all know how the Phillies handled business there and went to the World Series. So we'll see how that plays out. I'm very intrigued. Season ticket holder this year for the Sunday plan, so I'm getting access to playoff tickets this year, which is very exciting. This is the first time in my life that I'll be going to postseason baseball. I can't even put into words how excited I am because the Phillies, if you guys listen to this show, I say this all the time when I get emotional about the Phils, how important the Phillies are to me and how special of a franchise and team they are to me. So the fact that I'll be able to be in the building for at least one playoff game, if not more, is very, very surreal, and I can't wait. It's going to be an absolute blast, and we'll see what wild card game I end up with. If it's the second game, potentially at a clinching playoff game to go to the divisional series, which would be absolutely bonkos. But yeah, fighting Phils. Let's keep it rolling. Figure it out against the Padres, win that final game, and then go into this weekend, take on the Marlins, and handle business. This is a series that the Phillies need to sweep. Let's feel good about the Phillies. Eagles season starting up this weekend. Let's feel good about the Phillies going into the start of football season when everybody thinks that baseball doesn't matter anymore. Newsflash, it's okay to still be excited about baseball even if football's starting. Don't bash people for it. That is the dumbest fan take that can happen. It's it's football season, baseball doesn't matter anymore. No, you bozos. Maybe if you're a Detroit Lions fan and the Tigers stink this year, maybe baseball doesn't matter for you anymore. Maybe you're a Pittsburgh Pirates fan and Steelers football starting, so now you have something to root for. Maybe you're maybe you're a Denver Broncos fan and the Rockies are terrible, so now you have something to root for. In Philadelphia, we have good baseball going on, everybody. Let's not abandon the Phils just because the Eagles are back. Remember what happened last year. It was a special time during the playoffs. Eagles playing on Thursday Night Football the same time the Phillies were playing. We need the good balance, It's fun to root for the Phils. It's fun to root for the Eagles. They're both good right now. Let's take advantage of a time in Philadelphia sports where we have multiple teams, including the Union, who are very good right now, and root collectively for all of these teams to succeed, just like we did last year. Let's keep it moving and keep the positivity going in the city, because these are the teams that actually give a damn and want to win games and want to win championships. So let's go Phils. Let's go Birds. Let's go Union. Switching gears, though, the Eagles coming up coming up on the clock, which is going to be very exciting. Eagles Enemies returns this week with myself and Pat Pitts. It's our seasonal Eagles show where I go behind enemy lines. If you're new to Underground Sports Philadelphia, every single week during Eagles season, I go behind enemy lines, talk to somebody who covers the team that the Eagles are playing that week, whether it's a podcaster, a traditional media member, whatever it may be. It has been a wildly successful and fun show. Very happy to bring it back this year. We skipped out on the preseason this year because I felt preseason, there's not much to really take away from the preseason anymore, and it just doesn't tickle my fancy like it once did. So Eagles Enemies from here on out will just be regular season. 17 games of just fun behind enemy lines content. And I mean, you look at the Eagles schedule this year, we obviously have the Patriots. So that means Patriot Pitts, who also works for our company, but also covers the Patriots for Gillette Gazette from Stadium Rant. He's our first guest this year. Minnesota Vikings, that means everybody's favorite Vikings reporter, Arif Hassan, will be back on the pod. Week 3, we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, potentially a new guest coming on. Then week 4, Lake Lewis, Washington Commanders, another OG of Eagles Enemies. Then we got week 5, Cam DeSilva, Los Angeles Rams. Been a while since Cam's been on. Very excited to get him back. Week 6, we have the Jets, potentially a new member of the media coming on for that one. Week 7, the Miami Dolphins, hopefully getting our guy Cam Wolf back. Phillies fan, Cameron Wolf, as he's doing national reporting, but still very tapped in with the Dolphins. He's working at NFL Network now. Then week 8, we run it back with Lake Lewis, just in Washington. Week 9, we got the Dallas Cowboys, potentially a new member of the media there for that one. Then we have week 11, the Kansas City Chiefs. You already know the boy, the man, the myth, the legend, Trek Manifest, Chiefs superfan, is going to be back on the show that week. Then we got week 12, the Buffalo Bills, the tailgate that could end all tailgates. Week 12, new member of the media coming on. Week 13, the San Francisco 49ers. That means Taylor Worth makes a return to the podcast. Then we got the Cowboys again. Then week 15, the Seattle Seahawks. You already know what that means. More than likely, I would assume, I'm going to assume my boy, Mike Duger, coming back on the show. Then week 16, it's Giants week. That means the weatherman of Talking Giants, Danny King, coming on the show. Week 17, Jonathan Gannon and the Cardinals coming to town. That means Johnny Venerable from PHNX Sports is coming on the pod. And then week 18, we run it back with the Giants. And more than likely, Danny King coming back on the podcast. So Eagles Enemies making a return this week. Very excited for that. Want to run just through some fun props as the Eagles season is here. Just looking around at some fun stuff. I've seen A.J. Brown over 8.5 touchdowns. I like that. Devontae Smith over 5.5 touchdowns. I love that. Looking more at the NFL. Just scrolling through here. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see. Team props. NFL. Come on. This is what happens when you do things live, everybody. Let's click on futures. No. Team props. No, this is just for a singular game. I want futures. Here we go. Let's take a look at the conference winner props. Eagles favorite to win the NFC at plus 250. They're obviously favorite to make the playoffs. Division winners. Matt and I will be going over our division winners on Wednesday's big NFL preview show. The Eagles are favored to win the NFC East at minus 135. They would be the first back-to-back division winners in the NFC East since 2003-2004 when the Eagles did it themselves. I've seen Jalen Hurts 30 passing touchdowns as an over-under. I kind of like that. I think Jalen's going to take another huge step forward this year. I like the Eagles to have over 11.5 wins. I like a lot of these Eagles props. I mean, the Eagles are a team that are on a revenge tour, not to the degree of other revenge tours we've seen in sports, but they lost a championship. They are out to prove that they are championship worthy as a franchise, trying to get back to the pinnacle of the NFL, win their second Super Bowl in franchise history. They have a lot to prove. You know, a lot of people still think the Eagles are a fluke for whatever reason, yet they got better this offseason. You added DeAndre Swift. You added Rashad Penny. You added weapons on the defense like Jalen Carter, like Nakobe Dean as a starter this year, like Nolan Smith. You brought James Bradbury and Darius Slay back. Reed Blankenship going to be a starter for the first time this year, and he played well anytime he was on the field last year. Aaron Sipos is gone, so you have a punting issue fixed. I don't know if the Eagles have signed a punter. I'm going to look at their roster right now because I know they are going into the season without a punter as of now. So let's see. I think they just have Aaron Sipos on the practice squad. So we'll see if the Eagles bring in an actual punter. Unlike Aaron Sipos, I'd hope so. But like this team got wildly more talented across the board. Olamide Zaccheaus coming in on the offense. Quez Watkins looking to really show that he can be a consistent performer in this offense. Like, there's a lot to be excited about with this Eagles team, and I'm very thrilled about what they've done. I think the offensive and defensive coordinator positions were filled properly. I think they are going to be big-time, upgrades defensively, and I think it's going to be phenomenal with Brian Johnson as the offensive coordinator, who's been Jalen's quarterback coach, knows Jalen, so they're tailoring the offense to Jalen. I mean, it's the Eagles' conference to lose. That's really where I'm at. I'm that confident about this team this year. I think they can win anywhere from 11 to 14 games once again. Bit of a tougher schedule this year, but I think it's doable. With the roster they have that is so wildly talented, I think they are able to go in and be favored in every game just about, I mean, there's very little to be concerned outside of this team just staying healthy. That's the biggest thing. The Eagles went into last season into the Super Bowl last season with the healthiest roster, and kind of got screwed by a couple of things, but that's how things happen. So I'm very excited about this Eagles season. We're gonna get into it a whole lot on Wednesday's show. Because I'm sitting here exhausted after an amazing concert. Little concert recap brought to you by our pals over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. The Kennies were probably flowing, at the Mann Center. You guys can go to kenwoodbeer.com. Use the all-new and improved Kenny Finder to see who's got Kenwood beer on tap in the Philadelphia area. Must be 21 or older to do so, and of course, please drink responsibly. The ArcticMonkeys, they were a bucket list concert for me since I was in middle school. I remember listening to them on 93.3 with Preston and Steve. I remember listening to them on Radio 104.5. I remember just falling in love with their music from the jump. And first of all, shout out to the Mann Center, because I hadn't been to the Mann Center in about a decade. When I went to the Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions Orchestra concert, which was phenomenal. But the Mann Center, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool, but like not the greatest thing. The upgrades and the renovations they have done during the Pandy Wandy to make that place what it is now is unbelievable. A beautiful venue to go see a concert. I highly recommend it. This is not an ad, but like the Mann Center is awesome. I was blown away from the moment I walked through the door. Parking was free. Beautiful view. Vibes were great. Every employee was so kind. The Mann Center was phenomenal. I will 1,000,000,000% be looking at concerts there. If there's any artists that I'm a fan of that I want to see, I would 1,000,000,000% go see them at the Mann Center. The ArcticMonkeys were fantastic. Like, top 3 concert I think I've ever been to in my life. And if you know me personally, I don't really talk about too much of the concerts on here outside of, some of the homies that support this show. But I've been to, I have to backlog a bunch. I keep track of the concerts in my phone that I've been to for the most part. I've seen some of the biggest artists on the planet, from Beyonce to Jay-Z, Foo Fighters, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Green Day, Chance the Rapper, Kendrick Lamar, A$AP Rocky, J. Cole, Rihanna, Coldplay, Imagine Dragons. Like, I've seen big artists. The ArcticMonkeys have been a band I've wanted to see for the longest time. They blew my expectations, which were extremely high, out of the water. They are easily a top 3 concert I've ever been to in my life, which has been damn near 100 concerts I've been to. My first concert was Sting and the Police at Citizens Bank Park. Like, I set the bar high with live music from the jump. The ArcticMonkeys were unbelievable. I was sitting next to an awesome person at the concert, and we were talking. It was her first time seeing them, my first time, and she said that the vibes that the lead singer of the ArcticMonkeys, Alex Turner, gives off is like a modern-day David Bowie. And the more I was listening to them live, I was like, I feel that. I can get where the point was coming from. I've been listening to them since like 2007, 2008. And then obviously they blew up in 2013 with their hit after hit after hit after hit on the what the hell is the name of the album? I'm totally blanking right now, and I sound like a fake fan, but AM, with Are You Mine coming out in 2012. That was like my senior year of high school.
What a thrill, Philadelphia. What a thrill it has been. What a beautiful audience. Thank you very much. Are you mine? Tracy Island, time traveling, I'm gonna shake my legs. They're going to find you, going some velvet morning. You're too late. Just sit lion, Lone Ranger riding through one open space. In my mind, when she's not, I never signed me. Oh, crazy, she's a
They put that out on their YouTube channel, which was crazy. Like, that was like Internet 1.0 YouTube. When everybody was watching music videos on YouTube. They were just unbelievable. I loved every second. Like, they played the hits. They played, some deeper cuts. They played the bangers. And I was blown away. Like, I'm speechless by how awesome it was. And, I would go see them over and over and over and over again. They were one of the best shows I've ever seen at an amazing venue. Couldn't have, I did it on a whim. Like, I got back from PLL Boston, which was an amazing time. Wore my Nick Foles jersey in Gillette Stadium, set the tone. David Andrews was walking by me. as the Patriots were finishing up practice. He kind of eyed me up a little bit as I wore my Nick Foles Super Bowl patch jersey at Gillette Stadium. Shout out to my boy Joe Keegan. He said he was really hoping David Andrews was going to pancake me. I would have welcomed it. But I set the tone, Eagles fans. We're going to Gillette this week, and I had to make sure that Patriots people everywhere knew who was coming to town. But, I got back from Boston at a reasonable hour, took the boy DJ to the airport, and I texted a couple friends, and I was like, should I splurge and go see the Arctic Monkeys tonight? Every single person said yes, like, treat yourself, like, you deserve it, go do it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. So I bought the ticket day of concert, which I rarely ever do. It might have been the first time I've ever done it, honestly. Did it, and I'm very glad I did, because that was a moment in my life, too, that I'll never forget, because if I wouldn't have bought the ticket and I wouldn't have gone, and it's been so long since, like, I've even seen the Arctic Monkeys, like, go on tour. Not that I'd seen them in person, but, like, knowing that they were on tour and having the ability to go, I would have regretted not going for the rest of my life after experiencing what I experienced tonight. And just, like, kind of just, like, words of wisdom to everybody. Sometimes you just got to say, just do it. Pull a Shia LaBeouf. Just fuck it and go live. We only have a certain amount of time to live to the fullest. And sometimes you just get caught up in, life, getting busy and out of control. And, you lose track of just enjoying moments. And I think for quite a bit, that's where I was, where, we're trying to build this company. We're trying to make this our careers. We want to be successful. We want to be your go-to Philly sports hub, your go-to content hub, where we get dope content creators to come work for us and do content with us and making incredible content for every niche market out there. But sometimes you got to go live. And that's what I did. It was a ton of fun. I did it last week too, going to 3 straight Phillies games, and that was just like a roller coaster of just vibes and excitement, like across the board. And that's kind of what these past couple of weeks have just reminded me. Like, sometimes you just have to go live, and like, you can't worry about some of the dumb shit. You got to go out and just enjoy moments, take in moments. And even if you're doing it by yourself, you don't always have to do it with people. Do it by yourself. Do it with people. Whatever works for you. And I couldn't have been more thrilled, when it was all said and done, that I went to the Arctic Monkeys concert. It was unbelievable, and one of the best concerts of my life. I'll never forget it. And let me know in the YouTube comment section your favorite Arctic Monkeys song. I want to see if we have any Arctic Monkeys fans out there. Shout out to them. They're an incredible band. I will be on a binge of listening to them for months now, because that's what I do with concerts. But shout out to the Arctic Monkeys for a phenomenal show in Philadelphia. That's all I got for you guys. I'm exhausted. We'll be back on Wednesday doing our big NFL preview show. Eagles enemies later this week. A bunch of other content coming out. So make sure you're following us on the socials at Underground PHI, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Threads, Facebook.com/Underground Sports PHI, Twitch.tv/Underground Sports PHI. Follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, Instagram KBIZZLE11, and on TikTok at KB Underground. Subscribe to the podcast feed on Apple, Spotify, or wherever the hell you get your podcast. Leave a 5-star rating and review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow. Helps more people find Underground Sports Philadelphia, the podcast, and all of our content across the board. So go subscribe, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, original video content, shorts, all that good stuff. It's on our YouTube channel. We need to get to 600 subscribers before September 24th. Let's make that happen sooner rather than later. The time is now. Go subscribe, God damn it. Get your merch at phiapparel.co. And like we always say, this show is presented by, because it is, the City of Vineland. And the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. Through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. But this has been episode number 565 of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy, KB. Are you mine? I'm getting the heck up out of here. And I am signing off. Peace.